Hey, everybody, welcome back to A Fresh Perspective with Jeff Charles, where we prefer truth over narrative and principles over politics. And I'm coming at you again with another healthcare related topic. But before I get into it, you already know what I want you to do. You got to like this, you got to share this, and please subscribe. That will enable you to be notified whenever I upload a new episode. Also, check out my Substack called Chasing Liberty. You can access at libertychasers.com. Become a subscriber to my Substack. It helps me out a lot, support my work. It's only 50 bucks a year, and you get all kinds of awesome content on liberty, government overreach, and a slew of other awesome topics. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, I've been discussing the Access Act, HR 5608, and how it could have a tremendous impact on healthcare in the United States. I've also broken down the history of how America, how we got to where we are, as far as most people relying either on their employer or on the government for health insurance. And in that way, we have given up a lot of control over our health care decisions. Remember, health insurance is not necessarily health care. And in a lot of cases, depending on the insurance that you have, it could negatively affect your ability to get the treatment that you need, depending on what your health needs are. So, the Access Act is a step in the right direction. It's not the solution, but it's a step towards what we need in this country, more of a freer healthcare system where people can actually afford to pay for their healthcare. Imagine that. I mean, I've talked a lot about how before the 1920s, people would pay for most of their healthcare out of pocket, and insurance wasn't a thing the way it is today. It was a lot different back then. So if you haven't seen that video, go to my YouTube channel, check that out. But anyway, I want to further discuss the Access Act and kind of break down at least one of several ways that it can help people save money while still getting the care that they need, especially since we're entering into an age where we don't know if Social Security is going to be a thing by the time we get older. Medicare and Medicaid are totally insufficient. So through the Access Act, the healthcare savings accounts that would be provided through the system can do a lot more to positively impact our ability to take care of ourselves, basically. So, just a quick overview of how the Access Act works, just in case you haven't seen my other video. Basically, through the marketplace, the Affordable Care Act, Obamacare, whatever you want to call it, instead of receiving just the direct cost sharing reductions where the government basically has the insurance companies lower their pricing for premiums and deductibles, and then the government pays them the rest to make up for that. Instead of doing that system, individuals can opt to have the contributions being made or put into a healthcare savings account. And then these contributions can be used to pay for a variety of medical expenses, including deductibles, uh, hospital visits or doctor visits, that kind of thing. But it also includes expenses associated with preventive care. So this system or this the Access Act, this program that it would set up would basically encourage people to get more preventive care, which includes regular checkups, screenings, or immunizations, or however you feel about that. And it can help you detect health issues early on, which means you can act on them early on and not have to wait until the problem becomes much worse and, yes, a lot more expensive. So we're talking things like cancer, diabetes, heart disease, all in the earlier stages, they can be detected and they're a lot easier to take care of with early detection. It often leads to better outcomes and can reduce the need for expensive, longer term treatments. Um, when you have the flexibility that comes with this health savings account, you don't have to worry about what your insurance is going to approve, or what they're not going to approve. It can cover things that go outside of your network because it's just straight money that is specifically intended for medical services. So here's an example. If you go for, like, let's say you go for regular screenings and your doctor detects high cholesterol earlier on, now you can more easily manage that with changes to your lifestyle, changes to your diet, and maybe even medication. And this could help you avoid more severe complications like heart disease or stroke or even worse. Taking a more proactive approach that this health savings account would allow will actually save you more money, because the thing about the health savings account is that they'll put a certain amount of money in there, And if you don't use it that year, it rolls over into the next year. If you don't use it that year, or if you have some left over, which you likely would if you're only doing preventive care because you're taking care of yourself, then over time you can build a pretty reliable nest egg. Whereas without this, your deductible is still there, whether you pay it or not, whether you use it or not, but you don't really get to keep that money. So basically, this rolls over and it helps you save. It can even be invested, and I'll probably cover that in another video because that's actually pretty interesting as well. It can be invested in various funds that can help you accrue more over time. So this is a long-term focus that would require people to take more initiative over their healthcare decisions, and that's one of the advantages over it. I mean, if liberty requires responsibility, right? And you're responsible for your own healthcare. This way, this allows you to have more control over that. Preventive care can also reduce overall healthcare costs. Again, regular checkups, preventive measures, you can avoid the high costs that are associated with emergency room visits. We've all had that, right? Or if you become hospitalized. Um, this account would make it easier for you to set aside money specifically for these services. So here's the thing. I mean, and even if you compare, I mean, if you're getting an annual physical per se, especially for men, because we're really bad about this. If you get an annual physical, that might cost you maybe a couple $100. But compared to the cost of a hospital stay for a very severe condition that was caught too late, that can go up into the tens of thousands. It's absolutely awful. Now, some people go through that and maybe their insurance covers it, and that's good for them. But for a lot of Americans, this isn't the case. And as a matter of fact, if you have a story like this, where there's something like this has happened to you or a friend or someone that you love, hit me up. I mean, I'd love to be able to kind of share these stories to further illustrate why something like this might be helpful for a lot of Americans. Maybe it won't work for every single person, but I think it would work for enough people, especially those who are more lower income. Also, preventive care helps you to maintain an overall better life, better health. You can be more productive when you're healthy and when you're being proactive about taking care of your health. These health savings accounts make it easier for you to do that. So I wanted to kind of highlight that. Um, and I think that when you have that peace of mind, it causes a lot. It'll result in lower stress. Lesser likelihood of having other issues. Spend more time with your family. All of that good stuff. Now, even if this Access Act is passed, there's still more work to be done to reshape the healthcare system. I can't stress that enough. This is not the end all be all. Really, in my opinion, the end all be all would be making it more of a free market where these companies have to compete with one another and compete over your dollars and be transparent about how much you're spending and what you're spending it on. Because right now, you can't really see that when you're going through insurance companies and other entities that are designed to kind of muddy the waters so that we're all confused and we don't really know what's being paid for with what. So that's another aspect of the health savings account. Preventive care is very important. So I don't know when this law is going to come up for debate, but if and when it does, I think it's worth supporting. Let me know what you think. Would something like this help you or somebody you love, or you have doubts, or if you have complaints, or you think I'm full of it? Let me know in the comments or hit me up. Y'all know where to reach me. But until next time, catch you on the flip side.